She made her best friend marry her, but later regretted it deeply. What really happened? Come with me. Let's find out together. Hey guys, today we bring you another banger that will keep you at the edge of your seat. But before we dive in, I'm sure you'll need something to cool down. So why not grab a drink or a snack as you sit back to enjoy this masterpiece? And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more captivating stories from us. The story begins with a young, beautiful lady named Nina and her best friend Somadina. They were first seen in the house, happily playing video games together. The following day, they were spotted together again, always side by side. Then one afternoon, while Nina was in the kitchen preparing food, Soma and his friend were busy playing games in the living room, filling the house with laughter and noise. But the next day, things took a serious turn. Nina rushed out of her house in such a hurry that her sister, who was on a call, tried to stop her so she wouldn't run into an accident. She was desperate to see Soma. When she got to his house, she met him on a call, sounding worried and frustrated. He explained that his goods had just been seized and he needed 50 million to recover them. Soma was devastated, but Nina promised to talk to her mother about it. Her words calmed him a little. 2 days later, Soma was at Nina's house with her mother, who happened to be a detective. She had helped him recover his container. Soma thanked her, but was shocked that Nina never told him her mother could do something like that. Nina's mom reminded him that when you're dating someone, you should ask the right questions. After she left, Soma was confused about her words, but Nina explained that it was the only way her mother could help him. Later, while Nina tried calling Soma several times without response, he eventually sent her money and hurriedly ended the call. Meanwhile, Soma and his friend were about to go out when his friend asked about Nina, hinting that she liked him. But Soma dismissed it, saying he only saw her as a sister. That night, Nina went to Soma's house, only to find him still out. She waited until she fell asleep, waking up to realize he hadn't returned. The following evening, when she came again, she found Soma groaning in pain on the floor and rushed him to the hospital. Back at home, Nina cared for him, even bringing him food, though he couldn't eat. That night, while he slept, she stayed beside him, and they ended up making out. The next morning, Soma was shocked to realize what had happened between them. He wasn't pleased, but Nina seemed unbothered. Tried giving her a pill, she told him not to worry because she already had some in her bag. Soma later confided in his friend about the incident, saying he wasn't okay with it, but his friend didn't see it as a big deal. Not long after, Nina walked in cheerfully with food, pretending as if nothing had happened. In private, Soma apologized, but Nina told him there was no need. They were fine. She believed their feelings were mutual, but in truth, Soma only saw her as a sister. When she was about to leave, she suddenly kissed him, leaving Soma stunned. At home, Nina sneaked in the next morning, but her sister Chioma caught her and asked where she had spent the night. Nina confessed she was with Soma and even revealed that they were now officially dating. Chioma was so excited for her sister. When their mom walked in and asked what was going on, Chioma quickly covered for Nina by saying she was telling her about a church vigil. But later, Nina shocked her mother by saying she didn't want to relocate to Lagos for a new job anymore. Her mom was disappointed with her decision. At Soma's house, Nina continued acting like a wife, preparing dinner for him. Soma, however, kept trying to draw boundaries, asking her to go home whenever it got late. Still, Nina insisted on spending the night with him whenever she could. On Nina's birthday, she waited all evening for Soma. By the time he arrived, Chioma was furious at him for keeping her sister waiting. He went in to apologize to Nina, who had fallen asleep on the couch. 2 days later, Nina came to his house looking worried. She finally confessed to Soma that she was pregnant. Soma was in shock. She explained that she had forgotten to take the pills. Soma was devastated, even more so when Nina insisted he must marry her. When his friend came around, Soma opened up to him. Surprisingly, Mike supported the idea, telling him Nina was good wife material. Meanwhile, Nina confided in her sister Chioma, who was disappointed, and reminded her that she had once warned her about Soma. But at the same time, she comforted Nina. Back at his place, Soma sat quietly, lost in thought, wondering what to do next. The next day, Nina went to Soma's house. As they chatted, Soma told her that he couldn't marry her but wanted her to keep the child. Hurt by his words, Nina left immediately. When she got home, she tried to take some drugs, but her sister Chioma caught her in time and stopped her. Angry, Chioma went straight to Soma's place to confront him, threatening him. After that, Soma rushed to Nina's house, but her mother told him that Nina didn't want to see him. Still, he managed to get inside. The following day, Mike and Nina were seen together in a car, talking about Soma. Later, they got out, and soon after, Nina and Soma were inside, chatting. That was when Soma finally told her he would marry her. Nina was overjoyed, and Mike also celebrated the news with them. Nina returned home with excitement, sharing the good news with her sister and mother. Everyone was so happy for her. Weeks later, Nina and Soma were already married. One day, Nina stood staring at their wedding photo when Soma walked up to her. She was sad that he was about to travel, especially since they had just gotten married. But Soma comforted her. That same day, after Soma traveled, Chioma moved in to assist her sister at home. Days later, Nina prepared the table to welcome Soma back. Soon, Soma and Mike arrived. Nina happily offered them dinner, but to her surprise, Soma declined the food, leaving her disappointed. Mike, however, ate. That night, Nina tried to chat with Soma, but he wasn't paying her much attention. The following day, Nina walked with her mother, who reminded her how caring her husband was back when she was pregnant, making Nina reflect on her own marriage. The next morning, as Soma got ready for work, Nina expressed her concern about him always being away. They talked briefly before he left. At work, a stunning young lady, an employee from the investors company, walked in. She and Soma chatted. Meanwhile, at home, Nina was on the phone with Chioma, complaining that she couldn't cook and asking her sister to prepare food and bring it over. Right after the call, Nina felt a sharp pain in her stomach and collapsed to the floor, crying out in agony. Luckily, Chioma arrived just in time to rush her to the hospital. Back at work, Soma ignored several calls as he focused on the young lady, even asking her out for lunch. Though she was reluctant, she eventually agreed, and they both went out. At the hospital, Chioma kept calling Soma, but he still refused to answer. After lunch, Soma took the young lady home, and only then did he notice 10 missed calls from Chioma. Surprised, he called her back, but Chioma lashed out at him before breaking the news. Nina had been rushed to the hospital. Soma was shocked. Moments later, he arrived at the hospital, but Chioma was furious with him. Then Nina delivered the heartbreaking news. She had lost the child. Their mother, who was also there, stepped outside with Chioma to calm her down, while Soma stayed with his wife. The next morning, Soma woke up at the hospital when Diana called him, sharing the good news about a new project that required his urgent attention. Though he was torn about leaving Nina, she encouraged him to go. Just as he was leaving, Chioma walked in, upset that he was abandoning Nina again, but Nina assured her it was fine. Soma left. At the office, Soma and Diana worked together. 5 days later, Soma returned from work to find Nina still lying in bed. Concerned, he tried to cheer her up, noticing she hadn't eaten, and decided to order food for her. The following day, Mike came to Soma's house. During their conversation, Soma started talking about Diana, praising her in a way that sounded like he was already falling for her. Mike didn't like the way Soma spoke about her. The next day, at the dining table, Nina and Soma chatted and embraced. But the mood quickly shifted when Soma told her she would be traveling alone. She didn't take it well, and they ended up arguing. Back at the office, Diana came in, ready to leave, when Soma asked about her weekend plans. She told him she and her girls were going clubbing. Soma wanted to join them, but she refused. However, they later agreed to go clubbing together another time before she left. The following night, Soma came back home drunk, ranting and saying all sorts of things as Nina struggled to guide him upstairs. The next day, Nina was with her sister, asking her how she looked. They chatted about her appearance, with Nina expressing her worry that her husband no longer found her attractive. The sisters then decided to go shopping, do some makeup, and make her look beautiful again. Hours later, they returned from shopping and went upstairs. That same day, while Soma was on the phone with Diana, Nina came downstairs looking stunning. But unfortunately, Soma didn't even notice her. The following day, Soma and Diana were seen together, chatting and heading home side by side. That night, Nina still tried to get her husband's attention, but he remained glued to his conversation with Diana. When she finally moved closer and tried to remind him of her presence, he brushed her off. Even when she tried to get intimate with him, he rejected her, telling her to go rest because that was what she needed. Nina was left speechless. The next day, Soma went to Diana's house to gift her something he had bought. They chatted inside the car before she left. That night, Soma was still in the living room scrolling through his phone when Nina came downstairs, asking him to come to bed since it was late. But he told her he would join her soon. As Nina went upstairs, Soma called Diana. He noticed her tone wasn't pleasant, so he decided to go to her house, even though Diana told him not to bother. He insisted. He rushed upstairs to change, and when Nina asked where he was going, he lied, saying Mike's car had broken down and he needed to go help him. Nina wasn't okay with it, but she let him go. Moments later, Soma was already at Diana's house, taking care of her. Meanwhile, Nina kept calling him to know where he was, but he refused to pick up. Out of suspicion, she called Mike to confirm, but Mike covered up for him. The next day, Soma and Mike were seen in the car, and Mike was clearly unhappy with what Soma was doing to Nina. The following day, Soma was on the phone with Diana, who complained she was bored. That pushed Soma to go to her house, unaware that Nina was behind him, overhearing everything he said. When he got to Diana's place, the two of them chatted and openly admitted they loved each other. While there, Nina called, asking to spend time with her husband. Soma lied, telling her he was out with Mike and would be back soon. When Nina insisted on seeing him right away, he pretended not to hear her and hung up the call. Moments later, he and Diana went out together. He never knew Nina had seen them both. Heartbroken, she watched them go. That night, Nina sat on the staircase with her luggage. When Soma came in, he prayed to God to forgive him for what he was about to do. To his shock, Nina replied amen to his prayer. They both expressed how they felt. Soma apologized, but Nina left heartbroken. Her sister was there to console her. The next day, Chioma was seen waiting at Soma's house. When he arrived, he was shocked to see her standing there, holding a stick. She chased him out, and Soma ran for his life. Later, at Diana's house, Soma sat devastated, waiting for her to come out of the restroom. But he couldn't wait anymore and left. Back at Nina's house, she lay on her bed as her sister urged her to get a lawyer and settle things with Soma once and for all. But Nina refused. 2 days later, Nina was about to leave Lagos. Her mom and sister were there to see her off. Just then, Soma showed up to apologize for everything he had put her through. He even offered her a check of $150,000 to support her trip. But guess what? Even though she had already forgiven him, Nina threw the check back at him before walking away. I guess money isn't everything sometimes. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, drop your thoughts in the comments, and of course, subscribe to this channel for more fascinating movies from us.